Um, get ready to play, obviously, another road game and very talented LSU team, and then host Georgia, a team that we've had some incredible games with over the past 3 years. Heck, you can go back to my first year. We just, it's an absolute rock fight. So I feel bad for you guys. You guys got to keep watching bad basketball, but it's unfortunate. That's what I like to play, bad basketball. So we'll stay on it.
Frank, PJ's had a couple of games where the fouls have kind of mounted early, and he's had to take a lot of time to sit on the bench. Have you seen his confidence wavering, especially as good as he played when Sin was out?
No, I mean, you saw him make big-time plays at the end of that Missouri game offensively to help us win. Confidence is not a factor. It's just people are trying to go at him offensively, and he's had a couple matchups, dribble drive guys, and he dealt with that earlier in the year, and then he kind of didn't deal with it, and now he's dealing with it again. I don't mean the fouls. I mean people that are going at him, and he's just got to clean up a couple things defensively right now. And by the way, it's not bad basketball. It's ugly basketball. You'll keep watching ugly basketball.
Frank, do you kind of shield the guys at all from the things that are out there for them if they keep achieving this way? I mean, they probably know that they're tied for first in the SEC. Is it too early for them to worry about it? Do you not want them to worry about it? Do you let them handle it themselves at this point?
Yeah, Pete, I didn't talk to them about it when we were in dead last. I'm not going to start talking about it when we're whatever our record is. I think that's a mindset that you create over time. I don't think that's something you deal with this year. The guys have been around. They understand what our mindset is and always has been. The new guys have done a great job of following the guidance of the older guys. I just think that's part of our jobs in today's day and age because of social media and all the different, it's what Belichick called it, snap face or something. That's just so many of them. You don't know what's what. If you're not one of those people that's truly engaged in all forms of social media, they're all kind of one and the same. And I think that's our responsibility. I tell our coaches and our staff guys all the time, which is something that I think our guys are great at. We need to communicate with our players every single day about everything. If you don't, someone else is going to communicate with them. So don't get mad when they listen to a different message. But I think that mindset of being excited for who we are, we tried to create that even when our record was not very good. Pay attention to today. Pay attention to getting better today, not what's being said out there. And we didn't throw in the towel when we lost some games and we were written off a couple years ago. I'm hoping we don't get engulfed by the opposite either. That now people actually think that we're a good team that plays ugly basketball, and we don't try to start becoming a cute team. So people say we're better looking.
Coach, I was talking to Sin just about some of the inconsistencies on offense at Auburn. You throw up 98 points, executed really well, then against Missouri didn't quite have the result you wanted, and about 1,000 shots a week you guys put up in practice for each player. Just how do you get that effort that they're putting in to translate on game day more consistently?
The ball has to go in the basket. I mean, I had no problem with how we played offense. What I did not like against Missouri offensively was we committed, I want to say, 5 traveling calls in the first 5 minutes of the game. That's not good, But we always tend to kind of, blame rather than give credit to. Missouri's a good defensive team, They don't have the depth that other teams have. And if you actually, I love people that just judge based on what they read. If you actually pay attention and watch them play and you follow their games and you break their team down, the way our game flowed is the way every one of their games has flowed because they fight you. They don't get out of your way. They make it real hard. And they're pretty good defensively. And we miss shots. We got to make shots. We got to get more production from Kotsar and Chris Silva. That we got to have that. If not, then what happens? You become a team that becomes dependent on making perimeter shots. And like against Auburn, when you make 16 threes or whatever, then people say, what a great offensive performance. Not too many people make 16 threes a game, you know, so, but when you get open shots, you got to make them. You know what? You know what we did in the second half? We made them. So all of a sudden, we take a close game and we pop it to 14, 15, whatever it was, because we made open shots. And, you know, what we can't have are those traveling calls and all that. That was bad, you know. But offensively, you know, when Sindarius comes off screens and he's clean, he's got to make them. That's what good players do. They make them. We're not taking bad shots. I mean, you can count on one hand the bad shots we're taking in a game. And as a coach, you're just trying to eliminate bad shots. Where we got to get more production from is from our 4 and our 5. They've got to be better for us offensively.
Frank Sin mentioned that when Chris and Mike are dealing with fouls and maybe on the bench, the guards have to do a better job of helping out the big guys on the interior. How much can the guards do, though, when the two starters are sitting on the bench?
It's team basketball. That's why Sindarius is a winner. He gets it. It's you know, the game is a bunch of individual matchups, but then you connecting as a team and making it harder for the other individuals to beat you as a team. And you know, when our bigs are not playing as well as we need them to play, it puts pressure on those guards to play better, to do more, to be, for lack of better words, cleaner defensively so we don't get beat off the dribble on a backdoor cut because we don't have the rim protection, you know, without certain guys in the game. And, you know, and then offensively, it goes back to what I said. It puts pressure on them to make some jump shots, to get to the foul line. You know, that's where we have to do a better job. Right now, excuse me, we've got one guard that shoots free throws, and that's Sindarius. We need another guard to get to the foul line, get some free ones in there. Outside of Sindarius and Chris Silva, we don't have anyone else that consistently shoots free throws, and we need to get more guys in there, which means I've got to do a better job of putting people in areas and spaces where they can be more aggressive to get to the foul line.
You said after the game you were proud of your team's effort for fighting through and getting that win at Missouri. How big was that to see, especially with another road game coming right up?
It was tremendous. It's our guys played real hard. I mean, we've gone from a team that second week in January wasn't a very good rebounding team to we've out-rebounded 5 of our last 6 opponents. You know, our guys are working. We've went on the road and played real hard. You know, outside, you know, Missouri scored maybe 10 points in the last 3 minutes of the game. You know, we got a little tentative defensively when we built the lead, and then they attacked us, and we didn't do a very good job defending some of that stuff in the last 3 minutes. But, you know, we defended at a high clip the other night. You know, they beat us in the paint. But for the most part, we defended at a high clip. We protected the rim. We tried to do some things. We just, you know, we just didn't score, didn't shoot as well as I'd like us to shoot. But I was real proud of our guys. That was a hard. We rebounded, we ran. You know, I played some guys more minutes than I'd like to play, but we were on the road, and I was going to go with the guys that I've been through it with before, coming down the stretch there, and I was proud. Those guys were together. They were united. They were tremendous during timeouts. I couldn't ask for them to give me anything more than they gave me in that game.
Frank, there are so many things that this team has been able to accomplish that really hasn't happened here in a while, even under you. You know, last year you go 0 for 3 against Georgia. This year, first time out against Georgia, you get a win. You bounce back from a Kentucky loss, you go 2-0. You get, you know, 2 straight wins now over Florida. I know it's for you, it's always look at the next game and keep going because it's a long season, but do you ever sort of take a step back and appreciate and enjoy what's going on in front of you right now?
It's ugly. That's all I hear and read, and listen to. It's how ugly it is. God, why can't they play prettier? You know, I don't know. I like ugliness. You know, I'm real proud of our guys. I got no idea what's going to happen March 23rd. No idea. I don't know where we're going to be, if we're going to play, if I'm already watching television for a living. You know, I got no idea. I can tell you that on today's date, I'm real proud of our guys. They've taken on this season with an unbelievable unity to, you know, and commitment for one another. They've taken on whatever challenges, injuries, suspensions, difficulties, hard games, not taking things for granted. They've made an unbelievable commitment to grow. The way last season ended, the guys that are back, they've never pouted one day or ran around and blamed that they got jobbed. They're proud kids, man. And I've seen some of them come in as little kids, and now I can sit down and have a grown man conversation with them. And it's, you know, I'm real proud of those guys. And, you know, I'm not surprised that we're doing some things that haven't happened around here. You know, I might ask them to put some lipstick on, maybe look a little prettier. But I'm real proud for what they've done up to this point.
Frank, how is CD? I think he's only played 1 minute over the past two. Is he okay physically?
Ain't nothing wrong with him. You know, just got to play better. Other guys are playing better than him right now.
Questions, guys? Anybody else? Pete?
Frank, is it at all concerning to you that given the recent refugee order, that could someday alter the way you recruit, the way you look at people, the way you tell an athlete, hey, come here, but you might not be able to guarantee their travel?
I guess the simple answer is yes. What's the word I'm looking for? The irresponsible person in me has not read some of the details of whatever's been passed. I've been a little busy, and I guess I shouldn't be as busy with something so important, but I just haven't read. And I'm not going to go on what social media says or what Yahoo's, not the website, some Yahoo is putting out. Imagine that. We used to call people out of left field Yahoos. Now we've got a media site called Yahoo. I think maybe I don't understand now where it came from, but it's I probably need to dive into it a little bit so I can have a better understanding of the decision that was passed. But yeah, no, absolutely. When you got foreign guys on your team and guys that have to travel abroad and to get home, and you know, all those are concerns. And from a recruiting standpoint, you know, it's going to be different. It is what it is. It's going to be different. It's you know, are things going to continue to get more complicated, you know, or whatever's happened here over the last 3-4 days? Is this just a sudden change and then start reopening doors in a different way? That's what I don't know enough. You know, I'm not privy to vision down the road, and I haven't read enough as to what's in place right now. It's unfortunate, you know, but it's different than what we've had. And what happens to, you know, I like eating a piece of pie every night. The day I don't, you know, if I can't have a piece of pie because I got to lose weight, then I'm not in a good mood for a while. You know, just anytime we change our habits or what we're used to, it's going to aggravate people. And I think that's what's happening right now. It's an uncomfortable thing that we've all taken for granted in this country, our ability to get in and out and come from wherever, and then all of a sudden we're told that can't happen anymore. and it's unfortunate. But, you know, where are we going to be with this 6 months from now? Is it going to be worse, or are we going to reopen doors in different ways? You know, that's what I don't know the answer to that. I got no idea. But yeah, that is a concern when you have guys on your team that come from different parts of the world.
Frank, in terms of this weekend, looking ahead to the Legends weekend, from the time you got on campus, I know you wanted to try and build stronger bonds with those guys. Kind of give us an idea of from where you were then till now. You feel like you made some strides in terms of relationships and having these guys backing on campus and so forth?
Yeah, it's Larry Davis called me last night, and to let me know that obviously he's not coming. He's on James Madison's staff, and it's exciting. You know, when you walk out for a game and you look behind your bench and you see Joe Rhett and Kerry Rich and Alex English and and George Glimpf and Carl Williams, guys that didn't play here, but they're so connected with basketball in this university and this community, and guys that did play here, and it's exciting. It's exciting. And then when you have these weekends, the Gary Gregors of the world and everyone in between, that they come back for a couple days and to be around the team and in practice and to be honored in front of the fans. It's so important, and our numbers continue to go up. Obviously, the year we named the road right outside the CLA, Frank McGuire Court or Way, excuse me for not remembering the exact name of the road. It's Frank McGuire Way or Road. I can't remember right now. We had them all back. That was awesome because of what that one moment was about. But when you take into consideration that we're over 100 people every year, that's just pretty neat. It's pretty neat that you can get so many former guys that come back and their families. And, we had a gentleman from the class of 1942 come back last year. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was 1942. He's touching 100 years of age. It's powerful stuff, and just lets you know how many guys used to sweat and still care about this place.
Obviously, LSU was struggling in terms of their conference record. How are they different this year without Ben Simmons? Obviously, the number one pick in the NBA draft. How has their coach sort of changed things up in terms of without him?
Yeah, it's what happens is that everyone knew Ben Simmons because he was number one pick of the draft. But they lost their point guard. They lost their power forward who played 9 games, I want to say, Craig Victor, and was dismissed from the team this year. So they're starting power forward. Their starting power forward is out. Their point guard was gone. Their small forward is gone. So they're trying to get it done with a bunch of guys doing it for the first time, and they've got some guys that are talented. They got a first-year guy, Heap, I want to say number 1 is his last name, 6'10". He's an impressive-looking player on film. Impressive-looking player. Blakeney's an NBA prospect. I know I don't pay attention to all the NBA draft sites. I got better things to do than worry about what people that don't know people think about people. But he's a prospect. He's an NBA caliber guy. Sampson's been there. He was a highly regarded recruit. He's been there for a couple of years. So they're trying. I don't know. I'm watching. I don't pay attention to records. I realize they haven't won a lot lately. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't. I'm watching the games on film, so I see the scores. But I watch their personnel, and I like their personnel. I think Johnny is trying to get them to play differently than they played last year. And while you're doing that with guys that are going through it for the first time, it's not as simple. You don't just show up and let's go hoop, and it gets complicated because the guys on the other side, if they got experience and they've got consistency, and they make it hard on you. And but I like their team. I realize they haven't won a whole lot here lately, but I like their team. They've got some incredible moments in games that when you're sitting there watching, you're like, why? Why do we have to have another team like this in our league that's just got a chance to be so good? I think it's a credit to our league rather than anything else that we got some good teams in this conference.
And speaking of credit to the SEC, what's your reaction to how the SEC Big 12 Challenge unfold this week? And is it time for maybe for the SEC to reevaluate what teams are involved, considering if you look at the current conference standings, 2 of the top 5 teams were not involved. U and Alabama did not play in it. So, I mean, is it, I know the thing goes in 2-year cycles. Is it time maybe to do a year by year, or, I mean, somehow try to change up to get the best SEC teams involved in that challenge?
Yeah, I think with Dan Leibowitz and Tranghese and Commissioner Sankey in place, because when this 2-year rotation took place, they weren't in place. And with them in place now, I think those decisions will be handled, I'm not going to say differently, but I don't know. We're waiting for the spring meetings to figure out how we're going to do it, because we really couldn't do anything because it's a 2-year commitment when you're invited in. So we all kind of status quo this past year on that. But I thought the league did well. I mean, you talk about Texas A&M going into West Virginia, and they played without DJ Hogue, who's their best offensive player, and they're right in it there to win. Vanderbilt, they're really playing well right now. They've got a bunch of experienced guys that have bought into Bryce's concepts, and they're playing their tails off. But I thought we did well. I thought we did, as a league. I thought the guys went out there and did well. We won 5 of them? 5, and there were 2 games that Kentucky was a nose-to-nose deal, and then obviously A&M at West Virginia, and that's against 2 of the top 10 teams in the country, give or take a ranking website or whatever, and that's that's pretty good deal by our conference. I was proud of our coaches and our teams that played in it. I think I think you're going to continue to see the SEC grow as a league because of the players and the coaches that are in here.